everyone, and welcome back to the Bridging Minds FSU ASUE Podcast Series on Armenian Entrepreneurship, where we spotlight innovation, resilience, and entrepreneurship across borders. I'm your host, Madison Miller, a research assistant at Florida State University's Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this initiative to help amplify the voices of changemakers who are transforming ideas into impactful solutions. This podcast is made possible through the grant promoting STEM and Social Entrepreneurship through Armenian and American higher education collaboration from the United States Department of State. Also, I would like to highlight that the opinions, findings, and conclusions stated herein are those of our guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the United States Department of State. Today, I'm joined by Tigranuhi Hakobyan, Director of Caritas Aregak Charity Foundation. We're going to dive into her journey, the challenges she's overcome, and the impact she's making through innovation and purpose. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to join you today. Thank you.
So first, I'm just curious to learn a little bit more about you and your background. So where are you from and how did you get started on this entrepreneurial journey?
Thank you for the question. So I'm Tigranuhi. I'm based in Gyumri, Armenia. I was born in Gyumri, actually a nearby village, and then we moved to Gyumri. Former teacher of Russian language. 5 years working at school, decided to change my career because I have always been more involved into NGO field, non-governmental organizations. Then continued my education. Actually, I got a scholarship from US State Department in 2011 and continued my master's degree in education leadership and policy, Tennessee State University. And then I was back to Armenia, continued my work in charity organization that is called Armenian Caritas NGO. And through Armenian Caritas Benevolent NGO, that does social project in Gyumri. It's been 30 years that Caritas exists in Armenia. It's a branch of international organization based in Europe. And since 2013, being involved in the NGO field, my heart was close again to kids. And this time that was about special needs kids. And I joined Aregak project. Aregak project, support project for disabled children. And that's Caritas Armenian project supported by Caritas Austria. And in that project, we were supporting providing rehabilitation social services to children with disabilities. And since 2015, we opened the Emily Aregak Center for children and young people with special needs, where we provide social services and rehabilitation services. Rehabilitation services include holistic approach, that's physiotherapy, ergotherapy, speech therapy, psychology. We work with psychologists, we work with art therapists, music therapists. And since 2015, working in that field that was close to my heart and close to my education, my background. And in 2 years, we saw the need that what we are providing to young people who are already above the age of 18, 15 years old, what we are providing them as not only rehabilitation social services, but what is life after the age of 18. And that's how the idea of social entrepreneurship came, because we wanted to send them to other places, to vocational schools, to higher education. But for everyone just to get after school, higher education or vocational schooling, it's quite difficult, yet alone about people with disabilities. The idea was burning among our team. What we are providing, what is our goal? And then Aregak idea became. And we saw the call by European Union delegation in Armenia that there is a possibility to apply to a grant that would provide sustainability support to CSOs in Armenia. So that grant and our idea that came in time. And we became with the idea of why not to open a bakery that would provide employment and job opportunity, importantly training to young people who are new in the labor market. So that's how we started. Risky project. And this is where for my career, I started with teacher and then now I'm involved in foundation and I'm involved in fundraising and bringing social change in the community that I live now.
Yeah, that is amazing. You're making such an impact on so many people's lives through all these different organizations. That's so cool. So the bakery, I do have a question. So what does that training look like for these young people? Is it difficult to sort of get them acclimated to the customer base and the workforce, or how are you able to make them feel comfortable in what might be for some their first job?
Thank you for the question. Always answering this question, I go back and then try to answer how we started. So that was a risky project, but we know that we put all our heart It might sound not a professional, but we put a lot of heart and a lot of work in the love in the idea that we believe. We believe that we're supporting our young people who has been part of our rehabilitation social center, where they have been with us for many years, and now we want to accompany them to the labor market to become a model job provider, a business place where we are solving an issue for employment. Just a short story. One of our young graduates, he went to a vocational school and it was 1 year study. And then there was a possibility for him, actually a requirement that he should go to a place for his internship. With his mother, Mikhail would walk to different restaurants and other places, accepting Mikhail, who has a Down syndrome, to continue his internship. He got refused because it was something new for Gyumri, for Armenia. How come a person with Down syndrome would come and apply for an internship? They came back to Aregak Center, our center, Rehabilitation Social Center. And then we said, well, our mission and goal is that just to help them to get integrated into society. Now they are coming back again to our center. Mikhail and his friends, they were the idea and motivation for us to find a job place for them. But in order to continue that mission, we decided that we will become an exemplary place for the other businesses in Gyumri, that if we as a business, we open such a place and we show the ability of young people who work in our cafe. It's not just an ability, we give them a possibility and opportunity to open up with their creativity. Yes, that's a challenging work, that's a challenging journey until now to accompany them, until they are used to our environment. And as any mission that you believe with your heart, it is possible. And in 2018, we opened the Aregak Bakery and Cafe, where until now we have almost the same staff, young people who became our staff when they were at the age of 17, 18, and 19 years old through training. And then they are now full-time staff at the bakery. It's not a sheltered business where we would just provide them the opportunity, but we wanted to open a cafe in the very heart of the city where the customer would pass by. They want it or not, they would see our bakery first, and then they would come into the bakery and just as customers, and they will see our product, the quality service and the quality product. That is something which is very important to highlight when it comes to social entrepreneurship in Armenia. When people hear about social enterprise, okay, social enterprise or a cafe with a social mission, they would come to our cafe just out of pity, if I may say this, to support us. One time, two times, we just didn't want to have a cafe where they would come because they wanted to support our cafe. They would come to our cafe because there is the best service and the best product. The quality was our mission, that we would show our quality. And that was the way that cafe slowly or immediately, so many people say, it became a popular place.
Yeah, that's amazing. How do you feel as the director when you go into the bakery and you see the students and the young people interacting with the customers and enjoying their job? What's that like for you?
I have been once asked, aren't you nervous when they are dropping something, breaking something, or talk to a customer in the language, in the communication, in the way that they communicate, sometimes not understandable for the customer who is not used to our stuff? I'm not nervous because I'm enjoying, because they are trying, because they feel our stuff, they feel that they are accepted. The most important thing, they are accepted, and they would communicate the way they feel, and this is the freedom. They are not labeled. This is the safe space for them. Like at our center, we started our mission to show the disability in a different light, and our center is a safe space for everyone, out of labeling, out of just a strange watch or people just staring at them. The same is about Aregak Bakery. They have this freedom and they communicate. They drop, sometimes they forget, but there is also the other stuff that accompanies them, and they become professional because they have been given opportunity to work. First of all, training and the opportunity to work. And they appreciate it so much that they are important. Our cafe is located in the city center. We have so many different customers. When asked, who are your current customer or regular customer, I cannot say who they are. From the ministers, ambassadors, tourists, local people, citizens, political parties, whenever there are elections or other events happening, and just citizens and tourists, the city tourists, they are coming, sitting in cafe, working. It's a beautiful range of customers that I can explain. and they love this job. They are given the opportunity to work for 4 hours, for example, but when this 4 hours is over, because this is the law in Armenia, that a person with disability have the right to work during the day, 4 hours, but they ask to stay longer because they interact with people. That's also the way of the socialization. And that is making them to feel more responsible toward their job. And they are doing it with high responsibility.
That is amazing. That sounds so rewarding, and you must be so proud of them when you go in and see people working.
Rewarding.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Proudness is something that I'm more emotional, and it's more rewarding when you see like 6 years passed and the cafe is still operating, and it's a profitable cafe now. When talking about social entrepreneurship, I don't know about other countries, but in some countries that I learned about that the social enterprises, they get support from government or from other sources. In our case, we operate as general business, as a usual business like other businesses in Armenia. We don't have any support from government or from other organizations. We operate as a business. And yes, we also had this difficult year, like the year 2020, but we were able to stay on break even. And since then, we are operating on profit. And the profit, it's a small profit. It depends on the year by year. And the profit from this cafe goes to our rehabilitation center, to our charity organization, where we provide these services free of charge to other children and young people with disabilities.
That's amazing. So we talked a little bit about risk earlier. I want to come back to that. So
Okay.
you're starting a social enterprise like this, or really any business, how do you as an entrepreneur weigh those risks? And were there any challenges that came from opening up a business that might have been a little bit risky?
The idea in itself was risky, but European Union delegation in Armenia believed in our idea. We started as a grant project. We started as a project. In 2018, we opened our doors and we were still supported by European Union delegation grant. And the grant was over in 2019, July. I'm saying these dates because I clearly remember. And already in August, we were already self-sustainable cafe. So we were on break even and we were able to pay the salary, pay the rent, and just to operate as a cafe. Not even like a profit, but by the end of the year, we were able just to have a little profit. And then the year 2020 came. For everyone, unexpected lockdown. What we would do as a lockdown, and then this big challenge. You know, it's a business and the charity cafe and the charity organization. Again, the idea, we have an idea that we would continue the work. And the idea would be to support elderly people with disabilities living alone or other families. And we started the fundraising, online fundraising, that people would buy the bread from our bakery and we would bake the bread and send it to the families in need. That was one of the ways that we were able to survive the year 2020 and we were still on break even. Social entrepreneurship is a risky business. It's risky because one way you are solving the issue of a social issue, the other way you should be mindful, you should be gender sensitive, or you consider so many things that I hope all the other businesses in Armenia consider this as well. That's the way we want it to become an exemplary business. We consider the work time of women who work at our bakery. These women who work in the kitchen part of the bakery, they are mothers of disabled children. We are sensitive to their time work during the day because they have disabled children and what times of the day they can work. So this is the mindfulness, the gender sensitivity in the workspace, and then people with disabilities who work at our cafe. And again, their time shift, and it's a psychological coaching. That is something that was not typical for the businesses in Gyumri, in our town. We have a psychologist, psychological supervision, so that to keep the team spirit healthier and it's possible. What is the most important thing in this kind of business is that the team spirit, because we are the owner of this business. It doesn't belong to anyone or to one person. That's a mission, that's an idea. We work like a chain, strong chain together, and the continuity, sustainability of this business depends on each one of us. There are many reasons that you may ask me, like how you became a sustainable business and profitable business. Those are the things that we considered. I am not a business person. We involve business experts short term, but at the meantime, we have a good staff who really believe in this idea. And I'm really not exaggerating. They know who they are and why they are here and why we need to keep Aregak to provide the best quality, and they do it with love.
Mm.
I might use a lot of word love, devotion. We do because it comes from our heart, because we believe in this idea, and this is the truth reality.
Yeah, that's amazing. How did your background as a teacher and working with kids, how did that help you in your job now when it comes to the team building and the team bonding and connecting everybody?
That's my background.
Mm.
That's working at school for 5 years and then continuing my education in education policy, some NGO studies, NGO management. Still, that helped me a lot. But at the meantime, what is more important, when we started Aregak Bakery, I realized that a little bit I should change my social mindset into a business mindset to bring a balance, business and the social mindset. What I'm saying is that when you put first the staff, and this is the human rights approach, what we do, but at the meantime, we should be also business oriented. And I participated in different courses in Armenia on business development after the opening of Aregak Bakery. Me, our staff, three of us, our bakery manager, current bakery manager, and our development officer, Sarah and Diana. For 1 year, we participated in a course provided by Impact Hub Yerevan, how to support and accelerate your business and how make your business more sustainable. That also helped. Yes, my teaching background, psychology background, that helped a lot. But at the meantime, it's a business that we should have also knowledge on how to sustain a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I think we have time for probably about one more question. And I was wondering, this podcast is going to be listened to by a lot of college students. Do you have any advice for students who are in school right now or people who maybe have an idea but don't know how to turn it into a business? What advice do you have for them?
You have the idea. Anyone who has the idea, they should try. We started with the idea, which was a dream. And that's why we often call it Aregak, a dream which became a reality. To think a lot about it, but not to lose time, to use the opportunity, given the opportunity at that moment. We just immediately used the opportunity, for example, when we saw a grant opportunity in Armenia, and we applied with this creative idea, not an idle project proposal, but the idea was really welcomed by the European Union. And what is my advice? Business is always risky, but you try. You continuously try and then do it.
Yeah, I love that. Do you think that entrepreneurship is something that everybody is able to do? I feel like sometimes people think that, oh, I have to have this great business idea or I have to be a business person, but I think it's something that everyone can do.
My experience showed that entrepreneurship, it's always about creativity, but
Hmm.
it's also about continuous learning and using your idea in the right time, with the right approach, and with the right network.
It's like I feel like your story is so inspirational and I'm so impressed by everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your story with me, but also with all of our listeners. Your journey is a powerful reminder that innovation doesn't just start with a great idea, but it grows through resilience, creativity, and a passion for solving real world problems. And to our listeners, thank you again for tuning in to the Bridging Minds FSU ASUE Podcast Series on Armenian Entrepreneurship. We hope that today's episode inspired you to think boldly, build collaboratively, and believe in your ability to make a difference. Stay with us for more stories from innovators and entrepreneurs who are building bridges between education, technology, and social impact all across Armenia and the world. And until next time, I'm Madison Miller. Keep creating, keep questioning, and keep pushing forward.